Supergirl shows up hungover after partying across galaxies. Krypto goes feral on Lex Luthor's troll farm monkeys. And Superman heals in a sun-drenched fortress while the world burns. James Gunn's Superman is full of weird, wild, emotional twists, and more Easter eggs than you realized. Here's everything you missed in the final scenes, post-credits, and future DCU setups. Heads up, there'll be spoilers in this video. The final battle breakdown. The final showdown in Superman 2025 splits into two massive confrontations, one personal, one physical. On one side, Superman is questioning his entire purpose. On the other hand, Metropolis is on the verge of annihilation. Lex Luthor's last move isn't just another evil plan. He opens a literal rift beneath the city, a gravitational rupture threatening to swallow Metropolis into a black hole. But it's not just about destruction. This is a bait. Lex wants to break Superman, not just beat him, and it nearly works. By this point in the movie, public opinion has turned. The people think Superman's a threat, especially after Lex hijacks a message from Superman's Kryptonian parents, twisting it to sound like a call for global takeover. That manipulation hits Clark hard because for the first time, he starts to doubt whether he even belongs on Earth. And that's exactly when Lex attacks. But Superman doesn't face it alone. Mr. Terrific steps in with backup, and yes, Krypto the Superdog is finally unleashed. Together, they take on Lex's two strongest weapons, the Engineer, a ruthless biomechanical enforcer, and Ultraman, a violent Kryptonian clone designed to mirror Superman's every move. Ultraman isn't just a threat, he's a reflection of everything Clark fears about himself. And the way Superman defeats him isn't by brute force. It's tactical, emotional, and quite smart. Superman uses Krypto as a literal distraction, exploiting Ultraman's combat reflexes. Then, in one of the wildest moments in any Superman film, he dislocates both arms and lets a speeding bus knock Ultraman into the black hole. Meanwhile, above ground, the Justice Gang, including Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Metamorpho, are holding off an alien invasion led by Gamora. It's chaos, messy, and it's exactly what a first contact war would look like through the eyes of civilians. Lex tries to escape, but Krypto stops him, and this time, the dog doesn't hold back. In the end, Superman is bloodied, burned, and bruised, but he survives nonetheless. He finally earns the name people had nearly taken away, Superman. Post-credit scene breakdown. Superman doesn't end when the credits roll. James Gunn avoids the usual trap of dropping cameos just for shock value. Instead, both post-credit scenes have weight. They deepen Superman's story and quietly lay the groundwork for what's next in the DCU. Let's start with the mid-credits scene. We see Superman and Krypto sitting together on the moon, quietly staring back at Earth. The Earth looks oversized in the frame, emphasizing just how small Superman is in the grand scheme. It's a direct nod to All-Star Superman #6, a comic where Clark watches Earth from space in silence. But here, the Earth is exaggerated in size, making Superman look small in comparison. Not physically, but emotionally. After everything he's just endured, the scene drives home one truth. No matter how powerful he is, he still sees Earth as home. Now to the final post-credit scene, which shifts from back to Earth, and it's more playful, but just as telling. Superman and Mr. Terrific are inspecting a building that's been reconstructed after the black hole chaos. Superman glances at a crack in the wall and says, "It's just a little off." Mr. Terrific doesn't take it lightly. "What do you want me to do? Tear it down and start over?" Superman immediately tries to walk it back. "No, no, no, I just meant—" The moment ends there, awkward and unresolved. This isn't just a gag, it tells us three things. First, Superman is still socially awkward. Even now, he's unsure how to talk to people. And it makes him feel real. This is a guy who can punch through planets, but still struggles with basic human cues. It's subtle, but effective. Second, the fact that Mr. Terrific is still around post-crises suggests he's not just a one-time cameo or side character. He might become one of the key architects of the new DCU, especially with his connection to Superman's hypnoglasses and the unstable rift tech that sparked the chaos in the first place. And third, that crack might not just be a crack. If you pay attention, you realize the camera lingers on it just long enough to make it suspicious. It could be a visual metaphor or a possible tear in the fabric of the universe. A soft launch for the multiverse. Or maybe even a clever way to rewrite the timeline without a full reboot. It's not confirmed, but it's very James Gunn. Supergirl setup plus future tease. Just when you think the movie's done raising eyebrows, Supergirl stumbles in, literally. In the final scene, Superman is quietly resting at his healing base, his sunlit fortress in the Arctic, when a voice yells off-screen, followed by a crash. It's Kara, Supergirl. She's clearly hungover, still tipsy from her latest cosmic adventure. And she's not embarrassed about it either. In fact, she's loud, chaotic, and absolutely hilarious. Instead of being shocked, Superman laughs. For the first time in the whole movie, someone actually gets him. They're family, but more than that, they share the same emotional weight. And now, finally, some shared chaos too. But here's the important part. This version of Supergirl is unpredictable, raw, and fun, and all of it sets up her next chapter. Her solo film is already locked in. Supergirl is currently slated for June 26, 2026. We also learned something clever in just one line of dialogue. Kryptonians can't get drunk under yellow suns like Earth's because their metabolism is too fast. So Kara party hops across galaxies with red suns to blow off steam. It's a small joke, but it explains everything. Why she's been gone, how she copes, and why she's so different from Clark. And yes, Krypto's coming with her. But this isn't your cartoon sidekick version. This Krypto is a powerhouse, devoted, destructive, and maybe a little too obsessed with stars. Literally. His bed is parked beside an anvil-sized cosmic hammer, a quiet nod to All-Star Superman, where Superman used it to forge miniature suns. And one final tease, Jason Momoa is confirmed to play Lobo, the wildest bounty hunter in the DCU who will star opposite Kara in her film. If that pairing works, and it definitely could, Supergirl's movie might open the floodgates for a whole new cosmic corner of the DC universe. Easter egg breakdown. You might have thought the movie was done once the story wrapped, but if you paid attention, especially during the middle, you'll notice something else was happening in the background. Quietly, this film was building a bigger universe, and it starts with Sister X, a name you probably missed unless your eyes were glued to the lab monitors. During a chaotic montage inside Lex Luthor's pocket dimension, one screen briefly flashes. Subject, Sister X. Status, escaped. There was no explanation, but fans of obscure DC lore might recognize this as a deep cut tied to Project Cadmus, a controversial secret cloning program responsible for some of the most controversial and dangerous experiments in DC history. If Sister X exists, she might be a twisted version of Kara, or something darker. In the comics, she was rumored to be an unstable fusion of Kryptonian and Apocalyptian DNA. That kind of hybrid could easily tie into Darkseid's long game, especially if he's watching from the shadows. And if the cloning tech Lex used to make Ultraman came from Apocalypse, then this escapee could be the ticking time bomb of the entire DCU. And that's just one clue. This same pocket dimension is stuffed with callbacks. There's Otisburg, a nod to the real estate plot in the 1978 Superman film, where Gene Hackman's Lex tried to sink California. There are also frozen canisters labeled BZR-0, confirming Lex was experimenting on alternate Kryptonian bodies, possibly even failed Ultraman prototypes. And remember those monkeys on typewriters? They look funny at first glance, but there's more to them. One of the monkeys wears a pair of cracked red goggles very similar to those worn by Solivar, the psychic gorilla from Gorilla City. James Gunn has already teased more obscure characters showing up in Creature Commandos and Peacemaker, and this could be an indirect bridge to that. And finally, back in the Fortress, there's a detail only die-hard fans caught. Next to Superman's hologram projector, you see Jor-El's message cube. It flickers, just once, and the voice is familiar. Yes, that's Bradley Cooper as Jor-El. But something about the tone is off and different, like it came from somewhere else, a different reality, maybe even a multiversal echo. Put all this together, and it's clear. This movie further proves that something or someone is coming, and the clues are all in the background. Chameleons plus DCU Tie-Ins. One of the most important connections between Superman and the wider DCU, which might be easy to miss, is the Chameleons. They're not just background characters. If you look closely during the pocket dimension sequence, you'll spot a quick note written on a containment wall, C01 through C06, field deployed. That's not a throwaway line. It's a reference to something deeper. The Chameleon Project, a secret Argus program. In the comics, the Chameleon Project was created to send shape-shifting agents to alien planets. These spies would blend in with local species and quietly gather information on Earth's behalf. But in this movie, there's a darker twist. Lex Luthor isn't just spying, he's planning to replace people. The Chameleons could be used to impersonate leaders, infiltrate alien governments, and take down entire regimes from the inside. The program's original founder is Rick Flag Sr., who runs Belle Reve Prison, the same prison featured in this film. That context gives the Justice Gang's arrival in the third act more meaning than it seems at first. The gang is led by Mr. Terrific, who only shows up for a few scenes but clearly makes an impression. This isn't your typical Justice League team. They don't work in public. They clean up the hidden messes, and Mr. Terrific even says it. We clean up the mess that gets hidden. Fans were expecting big cameos like Lobo or Green Lantern, but James Gunn didn't go that route. Instead, he built it carefully. He dropped hints like Otisburg, B0, Sister X, Solivar, C01. Each one is a seed planted for later stories. What it all means plus sequel setup. This Superman, 2025, doesn't end with a bang, but with a question about identity, legacy, and what comes next. And that's exactly why it's dividing fans. Some viewers feel like this version strays too far from the Superman they grew up with. He's not polished or all-powerful. He doubts himself. He even makes mistakes. To them, that vulnerability feels like weakness. They miss the mythic version, the flawless savior who always knows what to do. But that's not the Superman James Gunn is building. This Superman is raw, young, and still learning. His strength isn't in how many buildings he can lift, which he still can, but it's in how many people he's trying to reach. And that includes us, the audience. Whether you agree with every choice or not, there's no denying that this movie dares to reintroduce Superman as a character first, not just as a symbol. Superman is back, not as a god, but as a man. And the DCU is just getting started.